And on that note, I think we can start the game. Or at least start the stream. So, good afternoon, evening, or whatever time of the day it is on your part of the planet. And today, as we've discussed, we'll continue with our foray into Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York. Let me just start the game while we are... Oh, while I am doing that. And yes, things can always be good. At least that's what I hope for. Let's see here. I know it's not too much, but I hope you are enjoying the game as much as I do. We had not looked at it in a while. and some details might be a little bit hazy. But rest assured, the game does get better as we go on. There we are. Now let's see where we have stopped, and let's continue. There we are. How's the sound, by the way? Not too loud, I hope. Always told you you'd make it big. Get real. These assholes are just using me as a pawn in some stupid fourth-dimensional chess game, as opposed to just keeping you off the chessboard. Don't be a glass-half-empty buzzkill. Watch them make me a scapegoat or something. That would be exciting. I could write a book about living with a 21st century Lee Harvey Oswald. That would have been a story, considering we already had like 2 or 3 of those. Come on, don't even joke like that. I haven't killed anyone. Julia, honey, neither did Oswald. And neither did those guys. Yeah, right. I keep forgetting. Stop wriggling or I'll mess your face up. Sorry. I'm always obedient when she's busy working on my makeup. Then I depose decapitate. Yep. It's hard to take care of your appearance, especially your face, when you can't even see yourself in the mirror. Not that I've ever been particularly good at it, but Dakota doesn't seem to mind. I'm her goth dress-up doll. Her presence in my own life is one of the few good things that my sire provided for me before fucking off to Chicago. Normally, I'd be told to find myself a ghoul, but many of our clan, myself included, find the idea of ghouls distasteful. We're cat people, not dog people. We don't want mindlessly faithful servants. We want companions who rely on us, despite having, in theory anyway, the free will not to. The kind of relationship I have with Dakota would normally be a breach of the Masquerade's rules, but the rules are different for kindred who are Camarilla adjacent. Even losers like me. Simplifying here, but my sire made it clear that her child would not own slaves, and that was the end of the discussion. To be honest, I think the court mostly agreed to that request because they wanted one more thing to blackmail me with, just in case. What would you do in my place? If I had to investigate your elite's wrongdoings? Yeah. I'd probably look for those rich fucks' pedophile rings, look for the assholes who mention pizza suspiciously often, see who has powerful friends in Manhattan jails, stuff like that. How topical. Oh, come on. Nah, I'm serious. Search for the deep rot and a lot of smaller crimes will get solved in the process. What is it with you and conspiracy theories? What do you mean? You just told me your bosses are having eyes wide shut parties and suddenly you don't believe in rich people's pedophile rings? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. My point is you act as if all the conspiracy theories are real. Like, you can't possibly believe all that shit. Half of it doesn't even make sense. Well... You want an interesting answer or a real answer? That should be my go-to phrase. The real answer should be the more interesting one. She removes her brush from my face to gather her thoughts. Everyone's lost nowadays. Just look at the world. It's drowning in facts that fail to cohere into a single convincing narrative, or a story that resonates. The corporate media want you to believe in empirical thinking, but it always fails to deliver moral or metaphysical truths, and the people desperately lack those. So what do? They turn to conspiracists, and suddenly, they're able to navigate the world. And why is that? Because conspiracy theories give them emotional truths that serve as a compass. Is Bill Gates trying to insert satanic microchips into my body? Probably not. I hope not. Now, is he a terrible person? No idea. But there's ample evidence that might be the case. It's in ruthless business strategies. The company he used to keep, the philosophies he follows. People look at him and they feel he's fishy. So when the media present him as a genius or a savior, and I boast that he wants to put the mark of the beast on my body, they choose to believe me. Because it makes moral, emotional, and metaphysical sense to them. And ultimately, that's what matters most. The end. Wow. I'm 99% sure this is complete bullshit, but I'm buying it. I mean, it totally misrepresents most conspiracy nutjobs I knew. but it's interesting and fun to think about, so I don't really give a damn if it's the truth. Yeah, 10 minutes in and we're already hitting the hard topics, like living in a... what was it called? The post-truth society. See? That's the idea. You get it. You came up with this monologue yourself? Oh no, I read it on Facebook. Oh, figures. But just to make sure, vaccines are okay? Well, as far as I know, they don't cause autism. Good to hear. Anywho, I'm done. You're the best. Yeah, considering how many times I've done makeup on a dead body, I probably have enough job experience to be a mortician by now. Now that sounds like an exciting career, but in reality it's probably the most boring thing under the sun. Not unless you play mortuary assistant. Yeah, I like my corpses talkative, pouty, and self-loathing. Shut up. This carcass will be leaving now. It's got a job to do. Go get him, Tiger. First thing I need to do, meet up with Kadir tonight and report to him. I hope he knows how to guide me out of this mess. You should have time for me in an hour or two. In the meantime, I suppose it's time to find some... what's the most dehumanizing word I could use here? Nourishment. Kadir told me I'd need to quench my hunger less often if I didn't smoke. It kills you, he said. But to start killing itself, your organism must pretend it's alive, and that uses up precious vitae. But I love cigarettes. The way they smell, the way they burn, the hot ash falling from the top, the sound of the lighter. The way they kill you, of course. And I guess I need some tactile connection to who I was back when I was alive. Okay, New York City. Guide my steps. Show me which one of your children I should drink up tonight. 3 choices. Diva's Delight, a slap on the wrist, Bunny as a reporter. I am feeling lesbian tonight, so let's go with Diva's Delight. A fitting name for a kiss addict audacious enough to openly pitch her unique taste to those in the know. I'm not in a clubbing mood, but since I need to feed, might as well give that rumor a shot. Yeah, lesbian. No blood, no matter how exquisite, is worth suffering through this noise. Something terrible must have happened to the previous DJ. It had to be sudden and unexpected for them to hire this amateur into the wire. Zero ability to read the crowd, no sense of flow, as if that constant flashing wasn't migraine-inducing enough by itself. Not that I remember how an ordinary headache feels. I know the hunger though, which is why I'm here tonight. A purple-haired girl bumps into me, head down, tears flowing down her cheeks, hands trembling. As much as I'd understand it, I don't think it's the guy at the turntables that made her like this. Oof. Oh, I'm so sorry, She bolts before I can say a single word. Well, who am I to blame her? A tactical retreat probably felt like a good idea. The trace of cheap booze in every potential vessel is faint but ever present. At this point, the smell is all I'm getting. Come to think of it, I can barely remember how alcohol tastes. Maybe I should remind myself... Nah, that's dumb. But the bar is pretty much free of people at this moment. I get closer and take a peek at the drinks menu. These are some goofy fucking names, especially from a kindred's perspective. Bloody Margaret, Vampiro. Or we just knock it off. Let's be classy. The bartender brings me a large glass garnished with a celery stick and filled with something that looks more like a veggie shot than a gin-based cocktail. I am far from thrilled. Fuck it. Here goes. I chug it down in one go. It tastes like canned tomatoes someone opened and left rotting for a decade. Something tells me I'm gonna regret it soon. The music abruptly stops just as I step away from the bar. I can't see the booth, but the crowd's reaction tells me all I need to know. Looks like we have a new DJ. The vibe immediately improves. Hallelujah. But pleasant moments never last. Some well-worn dude on the wrong side of 40 decides to hit me up. Our eyes meet for a brief moment, slightly too late for me to outmaneuver him. Strangely, there's no lust in his gaze. And yet he seems like a predator closing in on the prey. Shit, could he be the rumored Diva's Delight? A kiss addict clocking me as a bloodsucker? How come you're here all alone, sweetheart? I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but there's something irksome in the way he carries himself. As he approaches me, I begin to feel fatigued, like there was a sudden drop in atmospheric pressure. I turn my back to him, hoping he'll get the message. He doesn't. I can feel his eyes burning holes in my skull. Sure enough, when I look again, he's still there. I feel spiders crawling up my spine. Is there something wrong? Here, let me... Hands off, asshole. I grab his wrist in a tight grip and start twisting until I feel the sharp snap of a dislocated joint. He screams in pain, but fortunately the music drowns it out. As soon as I let go of his hand, he runs for the exit. He stares me down before leaving, and I can't help but sense something worse than fear in his eyes. Makes me feel uncomfortable. As if meeting that asshole didn't strain me enough, an acrid feeling rises in my gut, instantly making me nauseous. I barely make it to the nearest empty lounge before I begin violently throwing up. For a minute straight, I spray the couch with the remains of that wretched cocktail. It's not a pleasant sight. I get a hold of myself as soon as my stomach empties. Shit, Julia. Your life had more than its fair share of avoidable embarrassments. Is it necessary for your life to follow suit? Time to bail and not look back. Right before I reach the exit, the purple-haired girl from earlier bumps into me once again. This time, I know it's not coincidental. Wait, please. She seems startled, but gives me a pleading look. I saw what you did to that man. Are you one of them? What are you talking about? Who's them? She bares her teeth and taps the side of her neck. Oh, I get it. So you're the Diva's Delight? She blushes innocently, like I just caught her stealing cookies. Yes, it sounds silly, I know, but I thought it would attract some of, some of your kind. I've always been told that I taste good. Would you like to try? Oh, right, that's the girl from the first game, which, she was our first taste. Well, first official taste. After the embrace. She looks at me the same way a junkie who hasn't had his hit for a while looks at a syringe. You know too much. There's no way you don't have a patron of some sort. Her eyes tear up again. I do, but maybe I don't. I don't know anymore. He shows up whenever he wants, then disappears for weeks. I don't even know his name. We were supposed to meet here tonight, but I guess he didn't show up. The girl keeps talking. Now that she has found somebody new to open up to, any instinct she might have had to remain secretive is gone. Makes you wonder who thought it was a good idea to bridge the masquerade for her. Before him, I used to have a caregiver. She was one of the divas too, but she was exceptional, noble. I think she cared about me, in a way. She always complimented the way I taste. Would you like a try? She clings to my arm like I am Jesus Christ and Kurt Cobain at the same time, descended from heaven exclusively to turn her misery to bliss. Can't help but feel some disdain. Please, I promise you won't be disappointed. I know I won't be. I'm too hungry for that. But I also like to pretend I'm something better than hungry from time to time. Let's not pass up this opportunity. The hunger gets the better of me, but somehow I don't mind. This is what she wants, isn't it? A quick look around. Nobody's paying attention. Why would they? We're just two random girls who seem to be into each other. I gently grab the back of her head and put my lips closer to her neck. She visibly trembles with excitement. As I bite down, her body softens. Then I drink, savoring each sip. She really tastes incredible. Like an unfulfilled promise. Sweet, sweet innocence. As soon as I am done, she loses her footing, weakened, but undoubtedly relieved. I help her sit down on the floor. She smiles at me, joy glinting in her eye. Thank you. I really needed that. My name's... Don't talk. Just rest for a while. I leave her alone in this state of bliss. She doesn't seem to mind. It looks like I did the right thing. Right? Of course we did. I leave the booming sounds of the club behind me and get on with my night. Okay. A slap on the wrist or Bunny as a reporter? Let's start with a slap on the wrist. Samira is asking me to meet her. If not for the ongoing celebrations, the patrician would prove an odd choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful insight into the case. A clean-cut staff member dressed in an impeccable company uniform smiles at me as the elevator door opens. Good evening, ma'am. Meeting someone? I dismissed his question with an apathetic shrug. He sizes me up for a brief moment, visibly questioning my fashion sense. However, his professional acumen quickly trumps his discontent. Very well. This way, please. NYC's nouveau riche seem awfully hungry for gourmet soup this late at night. The patrician is packed almost to the brim. The concierge points me over to the last vacant table, conveniently situated in the far-off corner of the main hall. I nestle in the chair, letting my elbows rest on the ornate tablecloth. Watch out, oblivious little white collars. There's a black widow in your midst. Well, I'm here. Might as well just kick back and die of boredom. Yeah. I really need something to occupy my mind. You and me both. As I'm waiting, I rack my brain for any idea why the Banu Hakim Primogen wanted me to hear tonight, instead of out there working my case. The obvious possibility, and the one I'm counting on, is that she has some sort of lead she wasn't comfortable sharing at Elysium. I'm almost certain that's a false hope, though. This whole investigation still feels like a joke being told at my expense. While I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this, somebody finally takes notice of me. The concierge quickly closes in on me, dancing habitually between the tables, and addresses me before I can even utter a single word. Excuse me, ma'am, are you Miss Sawinski, by chance? As soon as I nod, he hands me a carefully folded memo and leaves. The note reads, "The manager of this establishment insulted the Camarilla's authority with his negligence. Even though it's minor, his transgression must be penalized. I would like you to assist me in this matter." Ah, that's another test. Such a display of goodwill on your part will surely improve your standing with the higher-ups. Choose an appropriate, non-lethal punishment. S. Well, this is disappointing. It was a high order to expect any help with the investigation, I guess. Instead, just another chore. The best I can hope for is that this really is just a friendly request and not a deliberate attempt to derail my work this early in the game. Ah, damn it. Might as well get it done since I'm already here, so I can move on with more pressing stuff. I swiftly approach the manager and tap him on the shoulder. He furrows his brow as soon as he notices me. I'm afraid I'm busy. One of the waiting staff should be able to... We have something to discuss. The VIP lounge. Now, if you please. His face loses color. Maybe it has dawned on him that I'm even paler than the other, more blue-blooded guests. He immediately becomes compliant as I escort him through a side door. The room isn't empty, but its guests are just leaving. Nobody pays me any attention. The manager is as polite as he can, but as he sees the patrons out... As he sees the patrons out, but I can see he's clearly losing his shit. He quietly asks one of his staff to give him 5 minutes in the lounge and gingerly closes the door behind him. Then, the pleading starts. Listen, I know I screwed up. I shouldn't have let him in. How could I know he's not one of the proper clients? I don't give up. Listen. Hey! I would never... I implore you. I have children, for Christ's sake. There must be something, an arrangement, a way to... He just goes on as if I'm not even here. With each subsequent whimper, he becomes more and more irritating. Well, we are a monster, so let's act like it. I've had enough of this bullshit. I grab him by the back of his head and smash it down onto the bar, then throw him on the small but stout coffee table nearby. I take out a soup ladle from the fancy kettle it was served in and just smack the guy around. It doesn't look nice and lasts way longer than it needs to. With every hit, his whimpers grow quieter. I only come to my senses once he chokes on a sob. I look down at him just lying there and wheeze after the unjust thrashing. I throw away the bloodied utensil and get out of there as fast as I can. I don't really know what happened to me back there. I acted on instinct. Karen warned me that something in our bloodline finds sniveling weaklings detestable. Is that what triggered me? Well, this is something to worry about in the future, but no use dwelling on it for now. I did what I was asked, and I've sure as hell wasted enough time here. That's all, folks. Alright, it's about time I head to seek a deer. Mighty kind of him to arrange a meeting in the place that's most convenient for me. Let's guess. Go back to Big Bob's Burgers. D'Angelo, Hope, Tamika, Agathon. I suppose that's better than nothing. But no evidence? Really? Honestly, it felt as if someone had already cleaned up the most egregious stuff before I arrived. Sounds like anarchs. I'll definitely try and check that place again, but I feel I'd need some sort of expert to accompany me. An advanced investigator who would show me the ropes. Someone tall and handsome, maybe? Yeah, if you don't mind the diplomatic incident, I'll go with you. Any better ideas? Actually, this very note gave me, but I will need to set it up first. I will get back to you about that. You know these people? I've had passing contact with each of them. Part and parcel of the job, you know? I suppose. Can you help me out with this? The way I tackle it would be, look at one person on the list every night, ask around about them, and see what they know if you do manage to meet them. If I manage to meet them, they're not particularly easy to get a hold of. Always prefer to be a little off the grid, but nowadays, they're all practically in hiding, if not MIA or dead. Funny coincidence? It is not my job to speculate. In other words, he knows something but is not at liberty to say. Guess I'll find out anyway, if I do meet them. And why one night each? Shouldn't I investigate every loose thread until we're satisfied? In a perfect world, you'd have all the time you needed. But this is not a perfect world. They'll try to brute force a solution to the case as soon as possible. I suspect that 4 nights from now, once the celebrations of power are over, they'll ask for your findings, and that will be all. Fucked up. To be brutally honest, my focus wouldn't be on solving the murder. Instead, I'd focus on not embarrassing yourself. Fucked up. This is part of why I didn't want you to get involved. You couldn't possibly think Arturo had you involved out of the goodness of his heart. The entirety of your investigation is just for show. You were meant to be an unwitting actor. Yes, in a perfect world, someone like me would not exist. But as we established, this is not a perfect world. If it wasn't for the loyalty I feel toward Kadir, Samira, and my sire, God knows the memory of my embrace still holds too much sway on me, I'd have plotted a vendetta against these assholes long ago. But let's be frank, even if I thought that lying to me about being sympathetic to the New York City anarchs yesterday could benefit me, I still probably wouldn't do it. It would feel like betrayal. There's something about the Camarilla's ideas that still ring true to me. A belief in individual excellence and nobility, or the way time-tested traditions can ground us in this terrifying new existence. But being on the receiving end of this shitty neo-feudal structure, and seeing firsthand how the elites always play by their own rules, regardless. I can't help but think there must be something better out there. The kind of Camarilla that would actually deserve slavish loyalty from kindred like Kadir. A penny for your thoughts? I take a drag from my cigarette. After the last few months of hazing, I didn't expect a random act of kindness. This kind of bullshit is, well, just how the Camarilla works, isn't it? More often than it's necessary, I'd say. But this time, it's a risky play. In my experience, if one simply displays some cunning, they can unexpectedly turn a situation like this to their advantage. The court. Part of the court assumes that you are unable to surprise them in this regard. But if you do, by the end of this investigation, you might as well pull yourself out of the ditch you're in. That would be a night to remember. So, where should I go first? You should go with me. As it happens, I'm only out here because I was ordered to drive Aisling to the art hall. And guess the name of her protege. Oh, so that's who Agathon is. Or was. Nobody knows. It's a complicated thing. You'll see. I'm on the clock, so let's get a move on. Lead the way, big bad wolf. Still not done with this bit? Not while it's still bothering you. I'm leaving you behind if you don't keep up. He does care for us. As I already told Kadir and numerous times at that, I have no idea what happened with Agathon. The Broadway Chantry, part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Aisling's usual hangout place these past few nights. She's in a hurry and not willing to talk. Do you have any idea about his connection to kindred going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? I don't. I made it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional one and never meddled in his personal affairs. Unless they influenced our work, that is. But it only happened one time. Ah, yes, the infamous Juno case. Were you two in conflict about anything? Something that might have driven a wedge between you? A pause which is slightly too long for me not to get suspicious. Nothing I can think of. But I did take offense to one thing. It was quite rude of him not to give me a proper warning before he departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favored by folks with a perfect grasp of savoir-vivre. I do hope his search will bring him back right where he started, begging me to take him back in. The boy is talented, and I did put a lot of time into mentoring him. If he doesn't, well, que sera, sera. No skin off my back. So you won't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. A researcher's mindset. She does not think it's worth considering the worst-case scenario seriously and just takes things as they come. Precisely. If, for example, climate change scientists didn't operate this way, most would have put a bullet in their own head long ago. That's a cheery thought. I'd like to search the Chantry for Agathon's whereabouts. Our good sheriff already did that long ago. You'd just be wasting your time. And ours, for that matter. Didn't you say Helene was waiting for us, Kadir? Give the girl 15 minutes, Aisling. A minimal support for an ongoing investigation. And besides, she has a proclivity for finding things everyone else has overlooked. 10 minutes. And if you attempt to pass this door or that one up there, I can't guarantee you'll walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Regent. Just get on with it. My time here is practically up, and I've found nothing of use. It seems Agathon was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as barren as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever. Nothing I could go by. It's all research, research, research. He seems like such a bore. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a warlock workaholic? Where would you leave clues to your whereabouts? Hidden in your notes, I suppose. What would you do if you found yourself in mortal danger and wanted Dakota to know? It's loose. Was that... Yeah. It was facing this way, huh? I approached the place where I saw the shadowy silhouette appear. It's a brick wall, and... one of the bricks is loose. Kadir and Aisling are in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find humor in the little things. It's demeaning, Sheriff. That's all there is to it. It's time. I work the brick loose until I can grip it. Then I tag it as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. Inside, there is a book. I browse through it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo. Your 10 minutes are up. So are your 15 minutes, in fact. Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the brick back and take out the diary with me. It did look like Agathon left it so that someone in the Chantry could find it, presumably the High Regent. But my investigation takes priority for now. I bid Kadir and Aisling adieu and start looking for a secluded place to read the diary. This place right here should be secluded enough for me to browse through the diary in peace. I start quickly skimming the book, singling out sentences and paragraphs that look interesting, trying to get a general idea of what kind of person Agathon was. Or is. I hope. The more I read, the clearer the image of the person becomes. He's been working under the High Regent for 15 years. Yep, snooping as usual, I see. There's an underlying shame in the way he talks about Tremere magic. He always describes himself as too slow in the uptake, too late to learn something, too much of an amateur. He was really into tying his self-worth to his wisdom. The entries beginning in 2012 are terrifyingly regular. The handwriting is extraordinarily neat. The author's absolute dedication to his studies is palpable. If there's anything to his unlife besides work, it's his relationships with the three important women he holds dear. The first is his master, Aisling Sturbridge, whom he reveres for her knowledge, stoicism, and willingness to experiment. I was hoping to find some details about her secretive work here, but no dice. It looks like he was willing to risk someone finding all about his inner life, but not anything that could harm her studies. A good pupil, serving a good mentor. I'm jealous. The second is another warlock, his ex-lover, Juno, whom he feels guilty about. They had a conflict in which Aisling was involved. Having to choose between the two, he chose Aisling. According to Agathon, there was never real love between him and Juno. First, it was just shared interests, then a growing disconnect, and ultimately, guilt which made him feel responsible for her. But maybe it's just excuses? He strikes me as the kind of person who spends most of his time inside his head. Doesn't sound like someone you could have a fulfilling romance with. One day, Dakota might realize this. Anyway, last but not least, Agathon's mortal grandmother, Sylvia. She is the light of his life and the person who took care of him after his parents died in a ritual murder. Not quite what I expected. Her family used to serve a cruel vampire in Mexico City, and it was retribution for their escape. She was the lead Tremere used to track him down, actually. He was keeping her alive for a long time, but a few months ago her heart gave up. Agathon blamed his insufficient skills. The kind of man who carries the entire world on his shoulders. Left alone with Aisling, he drowned himself in work and eventually burned out. But it does not sound like Sylvia's death was the only event that triggered his depression spiral. There was some kind of incident back in 2019. He does not cite specifics. Another thing he was worried about writing down. It's all vague mentions of a person who made him fly too close to the sun. Hey, that's us. The previous us from coteries of New York, who chose to pursue closer ties with him. Whatever happened, it had the same effect as his grandma's death. New York stopped feeling like a home to him. It became alien, empty, grotesque. His words. I checked the first page. There is a recent photograph of him glued to the inner side of the cover. He's facing away from the camera, only showing his profile and striking a rather dramatic pose. At first it looks kinda poserish to me. However, upon their closer inspection, it seems like a goodbye photo. The final melancholic glance he throws in your direction before disappearing for good. There's also a single black feather. No idea what it means. Something's written next to the photograph with a lot of flourish. It looks like a poem? More than annoyed. Sad. More than sad. Unhappy. More than unhappy. Suffering. More than suffering. Abandoned. More than abandoned. Alone in the world. More than alone. Exiled. More than exiled. Dead. More than dead. Forgotten. The Sedative, 1917, by Mary Lawrenson. Looks like he wrote it down recently. It might have resonated with his emotional state over the past few months. Most importantly, it seems to confirm his intent with his diary to me. The general idea seems to be his research will outlive him, so he does not even detail it. Still, he wanted some kind of tangible memory of who he was left for posterity. But that's not at all. There is still a mystery to be solved. Quite a few of the pages toward the end are missing, but it does not look like they were necessarily removed to redact information. They were torn off in a way that makes it clear the paper wasn't even ever used. What's more, the preceding pages are empty as well. Could it be that... That's when it happens again. I notice a bizarre shape in my peripheral vision. Bleed. I turn to catch a glimpse as fast as possible, but it's already gone. If my heart could beat faster right now, it would be jumping out of my chest. It's discomforting. I've been seeing these apparitions ever since I turned into this. The worst part is I feel they were always there. Even as a mortal, they were sometimes in a corner of my eye, disappearing when I tried to look directly at them, making me think it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But when you're part of the Night Clan, there are times where they don't disappear. There are times they talk. There are times they try to force you to do their bidding. And worst of all... No, I don't want to think about it right now. Still, in my experience, they aren't exactly, I don't know, consciously malevolent. This one in particular was trying to help. I open the book on the first empty page and look around to make sure nobody is staring. Then I cut myself using a razor I keep in my pocket just in case. It's not a deep slice, I just want to let a droplet of VtM fall onto the page. That's when the letters appear. Look at me, a slurp clown. No longer confident that any of my people can be trusted, I turn to a fucking spick. A camarilla spick at that. Reserved contempt. What are you waiting for, boy? Laugh at me. Ridicule is all I deserve. Come on. Don't just stand there like an idiot. You want to say something? Say it. What the hell? This is the last thing I expected to happen. Yes, I do know that it is also a slur. But luckily there are no Mexicans in the chat to call me out on that. This diary is haunted. A series of quickly changing sentences and images composed of shadows and blood give me a window into another reality. It's not an objective view, it's like scattered remnants of emotions similar to half-remembered dream. Full of holes, but an honest expression of one's mind. Might it be interacting with me? It's just a hypothesis, but I don't know why else it should show me Callahan. And was that Ellis Island? Right. Yeah. I do remember that. This time I don't even look in its direction. The voice makes me feel oddly confident about what I need to do. I pick up the feather that was in the diary and dip it in my VtM. Then I write down compassion, confusion, contempt. Let's try contempt. You sold out your ideas long ago, old man. You're a shithead, a coward, a bigot, a failed leader hated by everyone serving you. Of course I have nothing but contempt for you. Good. Finally some honesty. Now we can talk to each other like equals. It doesn't feel like this is the way these events took place. It's more like a way to explore Agathon's emotional truth about the way it all unfolded. In any case, the diary is reacting to me, and some shit of the truth is better than nothing. It's a handy tool, and if I use it right, I might find some clues that could aid me in my investigation. There are a few thoughts floating around in my head, like alien entities trying to make their way out. Is that also an effect on the diary's power? Let's try death. Is the fear of death that drove you to contact me? Don't be ridiculous. I've been ready to die since before you even came out of your mama's womb, boy. No, I fear something worse. So when you heard about their plot, yes, I wasn't afraid it would fail and leave me for final death. I was afraid it would succeed. God damn it, what are the two of you talking about? Why did you meet? I I've shared my intel with you. Is there anything else you know that I might need to know? You've gotten yourself into a giant mess, boy. You think what you know is bad? You don't know half of it. But if you want to resist, first off, you're going to have to bite the hand that has been feeding you for so long. Blood running cold. All the scribblings disappear and another set starts taking their place. The diary conjures an image of a completely different place. I instantly get a feeling of déjà vu. I process the space differently. The atmosphere is different, more familiar, homely. But this is unmistakably the Tremere Chantry I visited earlier tonight. And standing there is just the person I'd expect. Looks like that's it for my meeting with Callahan. God damn it. But what if the person he was talking about and eliciting a strong emotional reaction from was Aisling? The diary awaits my next command. High Regent. Why? Why? You can't be serious. These experiments need resources, and I wouldn't be able to provide all the needed materials in a reasonable time frame all by myself. It's quid pro quo, and it's not like my research isn't helping all kindred in a long run. I don't feel comfortable being a part of this at all. I always thought we were busy with science, not politics. These are the words of a child, Agathon. Science has always relied on politics, and politics on science. Not like this, High Regent. Not like these. Don't embarrass me, Agathon. Not like these. The moving scribbling disappear again. I hastily let another drop of blood fall on the page. What appears this time is yet another familiar face. Ah, yes. Agathon. What is it that you wanted to tell me? You goddamned rat. I beg your pardon? The harpy vanishes. Yeah, right. As if I could ever gather courage to say this to your face. But the least I can do is try and stab you in the back. The diary ends here. I spill a little more VtM on the page, but it no longer works. I suppose that's it. Still no idea what happened to Agathon. Is he alive? Or is he dead? What do you think? Is he alive, or is he deader than dead already? Well, suffered his final death, that is. He seems like a smart guy. Knows his way around. But averse to politics, as you can tell. I'm personally leaning more towards alive, since I think he had the good idea to escape and then disappear. I'm pretty certain he won't be appearing in the plot again, but let us be hopeful in this case. He is alive. Maybe Dakota is right. I've been a glass half empty buzzkill too often. I will brace for the worst, but hope for the best. The way he left his diary for someone to carry on his work, the hints he strategically left inside it. He's got this all planned out, no doubt about it. I choose to believe I will see him again one night. Maybe I'll even compliment that jacket he has. How can I check my traits? Loyal to the end? Glass half full. We are optimistic, it seems. In any case, I think it's time to pay a visit to the art hall. I know Arturo tends to leave the Elysium quite often to take in some fresh air and message people on his BlackBerry, so I just wait until I see him. The tactic works. He's surprised to see me. Miss Sawinski? Shouldn't you be busy with your investigation? I am, actually, which is why I've come to see you. That's peculiar because I'm absolutely sure I have nothing to do with that case. Aren't you barking up the wrong tree? That's what I'm here to find out. I assumed you'd want me to see I'm thorough. Yes, sure, I suppose it's commendable. What is it then? I have reasons to believe that in the last few months, you, the High Regent Aisling Sturbridge, and her child Agathon were involved in a secretive scheme. His expression changes ever so imperceptibly, but the difference is palpable to me. For the first time ever, he looks at me as a person. Up until now, I was just an amusing diversion. Now I'm something more, and he does not like it. What gave you this idea? I'm not at liberty to say. If you really want to know, ask the sheriff. Of course, Kadir doesn't know anything, but he's the only one in the court that Artura has repeatedly failed to influence. He'll think twice before approaching him. I fail to see how this matter relates to the task at hand. I have every reason to think Baron Callahan was involved, and that he might have had grounds to fear for his life because of said scheme. He's tense now. Do I have the upper hand? Miss Sowinski, please answer the question. The delicate matter you are speaking of has absolutely nothing to do with Baron Callahan's grim fate. It's a strictly confidential affair. It would be wise of you to stop pursuing it. It would be wise of you to fuck off. I can't be an investigator if I'm not allowed to properly investigate. This matter is unrelated to your work and should be treated as such. I am 100% convinced Prince Panhard would agree. If you insist on pursuing it further, then take it up to the prince and see if her stance differs from mine. But I think you aren't as naive as to waste her time this way, and besides, she'd certainly want you to present the basis for your discovery to the court. Could you handle it? I have no response. God damn it, this is his revenge for invoking Kadir, isn't it? I thought so. Is the High Regent inside? She is, but don't worry. I'll make sure to tell her not to waste your precious time, Miss Sowinski. So that's how you're gonna play it, you bastard. Well, I guess you win this round. A strategic retreat is my only choice here. I don't have a full deck of cards yet, but just you wait. In a few nights. I'll take my leave then. Yes, do that. And if I may be so blunt, focus on the investigation avenues that aren't utterly imbecilic and suicidal to pursue, miss. I bid you adieu. I curse him out under my breath as he disappears inside the art hole. Yes, this avenue really is cut off for me. At least for now. 3 names left in the list. I still have some leads to go by. But for now, it's getting late. I should go to St. Patrick's and file my latest report. When I reach the cathedral, Father Leonard is already there. He's not exactly the most punctual person, so I always feel relieved to see him from afar. Time to move in and move out before I'm noticed by Benoit. Will this be all? I guess so. I rattled off most of it in a hurry on the way here. I'll come up with a more exhaustive report tomorrow night. Busy? Looks that way, Father. Our wayward girl has finally been recognized by her superiors. Here we go again. Of course he had to sneak up on me. If even you heard about that, I guess that means every single kindred in the 5 boroughs knows. I know you're an expert when it comes to knowing who's saying what and where, but the last time we met, you promised to share that knowledge with me. Yeah, I was kind of lying. That's the 9th commandment broken, Father. Shouldn't you scold her? Don't involve me with your silly games, Benoit. The way you fall for obvious lies stems from your biggest failing in communication. And that is? You only pay attention to the what that's being said and not the how. That's... Boy, yeah, motherfucker. Suck it. Annihilated with an absolutely flawless diagnosis. Child, don't make me regret siding with you. I'm sorry, Father. Won't happen again, especially if you promise to keep verbally destroying that clown. You're in a strange mood tonight, child. Go get some sleep. Yes, we'll continue this tomorrow. I'm not showing up here tomorrow. Yes, you are. Stop breaking the 9th commandment. See you around, Julia. He says my name in a sickly sweet way that gives me the creeps. I bow to Father Leonard, do my best to ignore Benoit, and head for Dakota's place. Finally, my haven. Hey. Hey. Another tough night? You don't know the half of it. Want a drink? She points to her neck. I manage to summon a faint smile. I'd love to, but you know we can't do this too often. Maybe tomorrow. You want to talk then? Yeah, guess so. It's not about, just not about work, okay? I sit down next to her. Not about work, got it. What's on your mind then? The past, I guess. Meaning? How spotty our memories are, and how despite that, that's what we build our convictions on. Sorry, it's so banal. I'm just tired. And frustrated. Well, let's talk about something more specific then. What do you remember about the time we first met? The time we first met? Yeah. Shit. Not a lot, actually. Those were gloomy, anxious days. I think I subconsciously replaced most of them with blank spaces. I remember you trying to paint your hair black. Ouch. Don't dig up my trauma now, okay? I remember that when we first talked, we talked about Hausu. Don't say Hausu, it's low-key racist, I think. Ah, that Japanese horror. House. Nobody ever knows what you mean by house. Ah, that show with the asshole doctor? No, the Japanese haunted house horror film that feels like it was written by a 7-year-old with ADHD. In the best way. In the best way, duh. We were arguing which characters from the movie both of us are. You were Kung Fu and I ended up as Prof. Which was rude. You were dressed up like a total nerd. Not my fault. What was the deal with that suit? I liked that suit. Yeah, it was okay. I remember helping you out with graphic design whenever you needed it. Funny. I remember you needing help with writing as something that tended to happen far more often. Yeah, we developed a fun, shared aesthetic with similar surface concerns, and it bonded us together even before we made sure we were fully compatible deep down as human beings. Hell, I'm still not sure we are. Especially now with me not being a human being anymore. But hey, at least we both agree that this bedroom feels super comfy. I remember always feeling left out of your social circles. Always knocking at the door from the outside. Oh, forget it. My social circles were full out of touch snobby assholes. Yeah, but it felt weird how much they avoided me. There was that one time with Isabella. All of a sudden, one thing Isabella said at that one party flashes in my mind with startling clarity. After midnight in that kitchen, without context, she just walked up to me and... She will isolate you, she will suck you dry, and she'll move on to the next target. That's the only thing she knows. Don't remind me of Isabella. She always resented me. It's been so long and it's all baseless conjecture now, but what if she really did isolate me on purpose back then? So who's the predator in this relation? Huh? I can say that I leave that up to the audience, but I am fairly certain this question will be answered in a little while. Nah, the glass is half full. The past is Schrodinger's cat and all that. Better to believe in the positive version of events. Come to think of it, friend or foe, if you don't believe they're on your side, they will know it one way or the other. And then it's 100% certain they won't be on your side. Maybe optimism really is the way. Yeah, forget Isabella, let's just drop this talk. I'm frustrated enough. I need a reset. Sounds like a good idea. Off to sleep? Yeah, gotta get ready to go back to hell tomorrow. Alright, I'll get back to work. You're working remotely again? Yeah, my office is going insane for so many reasons. But I'm getting cabin fever too. Get some sun. It will be good for you. Look who's talking. Good night, sunshine. Good night. A few minutes after I wake up, I see a message slipped into the apartment's front door. Kadir? Yep, looks like he's got a short window to meet me in Queens a few hours from now. Willet's Point. A single suggestion. Get ready for action. Find him. I will. Best way to do it would be to clear my mind. Just walk without thinking. Reset the framework. Some fresh air should do it. Maybe a chance meeting with someone could get me out of this mental rut. Let me look at the world from a different angle for a while and improve my mood. Although when it comes to improving one's mood, nothing beats some crimson red pouring down my throat. Not to mention these cigarettes taste best with a full stomach. Let's go. Oh, it's her again. Or... let's see here. Hide and seek for dummies. I'm being taped. The last thing I need right now is a weirdo stalker following my every step. Did I take this investigation too far down the rabbit hole? Not quite yet. I'm sure there are better ways of finding solitude than wandering aimlessly in the endless downpour. There are nights when I dive straight into a fizzed crowd and vicariously enjoy their sweat, their hypnotic moves, and mindless self-indulgence. When my body starts to resonate with the relentless wall of sound, everyone disappears and I'm raptured into a perfect kind of isolation. Then there are those nights when I crash on the couch while Dakota goes on a rant about something so far removed from my area of interest, I zone out and I enjoy the privacy of my own thoughts. But then there are moments like this one. Nights when I just want everyone to shut the fuck up so I can think. Those nights I usually end up mindlessly strolling around the rain-swept streets before inevitably ended up at the Big Beat Burger. Or at least that used to be the norm before this whole mess. Lately, even that kind of solitude seems out of my reach, especially when I'm being tailed by a poor man's Ethan Hunt on a crash diet. He's been following me for 10 minutes, and so far he has managed to bump into an empty newsstand, make enemies of several cab drivers, and even get bitch-slapped by a living statue while trying to blend in. Sigh. As he shortens the distance, I grab a nearby lamppost and swing myself around like Gene Kelly, using the momentum to quickly turn around and look right at him. Oh, hell no. He springs up into the nearest alley. I wonder if he thinks that somehow I did not notice. Hey, do me a favor, will you, asshole? Stop creeping on me. I'm about to walk away when an obnoxious voice not belonging to the creep catches my ear. It's coming from the same alley. It's followed by a loud crashing from sounds like the metal slide of a garbage dumpster, followed by a painful moan. Maybe the stalker got himself in trouble. Should we have to don in a giraffe hat? Shut the fuck up, I'm trying to think. Oh, that's an old one. I should let that creep deal with this himself. I should, but I won't. Can't have a moment's rest in this goddamn city, can I? As I barge into the alley, I notice two hooded jocks bullying my scrawny stalker. While the big guy wrestles with a high-tech smartphone, the sleeker one keeps punching. How nice of them to share responsibilities. Let's fuck him up. I don't speak up. I just come in swinging. The big dude barely has the chance to drop the phone on the ground and put his arms up in defense. Not that it helps him much. I deviate his septum with a swift jab. He falls flat on his ass like a clumsy child, his nose bursting with blood. The scent makes me shudder. I fling him like a missile directly into his smaller companion. This spectacular fight ends with a thin cracking of his broken rib, coupled with the smaller guy's head hitting against the wall. As the thug's victim recovers, I shove both of their unconscious bodies into the garbage dumpster, right where they belong. I could pick up the peculiar smartphone on my way over to the stalker. It doesn't take a genius to figure out it belongs to him. The screen is locked and glitches oddly as soon as I touch it. No surprises there. The stalker seems relieved, but at the same time unnerved by the fact that I am holding his property. He tries to exhibit some confidence, but his trembling voice undermines the effort. Listen, I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything, but I'd like that back. It's not like you can use it anyway, right? The nervous smirk on his already punchable face kinda makes me wish that I'd left him to his own devices. I am of two minds about handing over something I could use to gain leverage over the sleazy asshole who's been stalking me for God knows how long. What, this little thing right here? Yes, that little thing. Give it back. Are you so sure you want it back? Oh, looks so tasteless and dorky. Overwhelmingly dorky. Wearing a Star Trek t-shirt to an opera dorky. Like, Elon Musk probably thinks it's chic and cool dorky. Shots fired. I ain't joking. Did you see that? I almost dropped it right into the storm drain. Shit, that was close. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. My boss will disembowel me on the spot if something happens to that phone. Say the magic word. Jesus fucking... Yeah, okay, please. Please, can I have it back? The second he tries something, it goes back into my hands and under my heel. There you go. He catches the phone with the liveliness of a little boy getting his first video game console. Thanks, Jules. I really appreciate that. He knows my name and makes a point of bragging about it. Not particularly subtle. Why the fuck are you following me? Are you with the Camarilla? Did somebody tell you to watch my steps? He looks confused when I mention the sect's name. I realized that after the fact that it was probably a really stupid thing to say to a random creep. Not sure what a caramel is. Sounds tasty. But my boss, he's an important guy. I want to be on his good side, let me tell you. That said, he doesn't tell me anything I don't need to know, and all I know is he wanted me to keep an eye on you tonight. Something, something, you're being watched, something, something, powerful friends. That's the best you got? You're not getting anything else from me. If you want to finish what the Ozali rat started, go ahead, but you'll be wasting your time, Jules. The loser seems to brace for a hit, contorting his face into a confusing grimace which was probably meant to express bravado. I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction. Fair enough. But call me Jules again, and this time, when you lose your phone, you'll need a proctologist to help you find it. Kinky, ain't ya? I'll see you later. You won't if you know what's good for you. He doesn't respond. As he limps away, I realize that the rain is slowly letting up and that once more, I am left with more questions than answers. C'est le refrain de ma vie. I decide to get on with my night and focus on the relief that comes with realizing I'm not the voyeuristic object of some creep's interest. Been there, done that, wouldn't recommend. Time to get a move on. It's time to get back to work. I step inside the subway and head for my meeting with Kadir. Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought you were kidding. Nope, I couldn't reach her, but I know for a fact Hope is there. He's pointing in the direction of a double spiral building. And what is she doing there? I understand she's the current leader of the company. Acting CEO, to be exact. Are you hyped? You're gonna meet your best girl. Previously best girl. No, you're pulling my leg. Of all the places in this city. The company that brags about creating IT solutions of the future, always surrounded by rumors of monstrous workers' abuse, all sorts of ethical violations, trading information with governments, and ending the career of a certain promising journalist and professional fuck-up who attempted to investigate them seriously. You might be able to ask her both professional and personal questions. Two birds with one stone. I don't get it. Last time I checked, the company belonged to Kara Montgomery. I'm told she quietly took a sabbatical a few months ago. And it sure looks like the kind of sabbatical you don't come back from. Corporate backstabbing? Not a single corporate shark is as good at drawing blood as a patrician kindred. Pretty sure there are bigger powers involved. Let's see... patrician is of course Clan Ventru. Real Wall Street type motherfuckers. The name of the game with the Ventru is power and wealth, bar none. The historical leaders of the Camarilla, they hold more positions of power than any other clan, and that won't be changing anytime soon. They believe in lineage above all. Who a sire chooses as child can make or break her position in the clan. The Ventru are often aimed to embrace the well-connected and those at the apex of their industries. A common criticism is that their goal is nothing less than domination over all kindred, no matter what the cost. Whispered nicknames you might hear behind their backs may include Little Lords, Borgias, and Tyrants, while more respectful ones would be Blue Bloods, Patricians, or Warlords. Unsurprisingly, Prince Penhard is one of them, perhaps partially due to the fact her sire was prince up until her ultimate untimely demise in 1999. A lot of them hate the La Sombra with a passion. I remember I was shocked when I first learned that one of my nemesis back in my old life was a vampire all along. When I realized her position made her untouchable to me, I was beyond mad. Yes, 1999. I think this was also explored in Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. See, it all ties back, one into one another. Well, whatever happened, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. What about her brother Jesse? You're asking me? Last I checked, you were the expert in this company. I just handled the basic intel for you, even though I shouldn't even really be here. Yeah, and I hope you realize I'm grateful. You'd better be. So is Hope just another corporate shark? Well, she's the child of Carter. A theatrical pause. He smiles as he sees me wince. But very much unlike him. He took her in for her particular multifaceted talents related to the internet, knowing he's hopelessly behind at times in that regard. I hear she's been unruly, though. Well, unruly is good. I can work with unruly. So you're telling me she might not be a stuck-up startup bitch? Language. As I've told you a few times now, when it comes to the internet, just assume I haven't the slightest idea. I'm getting there myself. I haven't been able to check my email for 5 months. I have no idea what the kids at BBB are talking about most of the time. Thank God. The Zoomer speak can drive you verifiably insane, even more so than reading ancient Eldritch lore. Oh my God, I might be getting old. Don't worry. The moment you realize you don't give a damn about most fads you would have cared about years ago is a liberating one. Been there, done that. At the beginning of the 20th century. Old. Anyway, you'll probably hear Hope's story straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have much time, so I'll get straight to the point. You shouldn't be looking at anything in the main building. It's just the front. Ignore it. What you want to do is use the elevators to get to the lowest floor of the building. No Zoomers speaking here. You speak Zoomer, you're getting banned. Psh, I heard stories about the double spiral basement, but I had no idea what to make of them. Every source told me a different rumor. Did any of them tell you a rumor about an army of underground ghouls? No, but I'm all ears. Double Spiral employs an army of ghouls as a cheap workforce. They work and live underground, away from prying eyes, with lesser rights than regular kind employees. Perfect for business. Wow. No, Gen Alpha is also a no-go. Millennial is the youngest I will go. I'm actually speechless for a second. I had profoundly low expectations at that company, but every time I learn something new about what's going on behind the scenes, I'm still surprised at the level of scumbaggery at play. I'll leave the moral judgments to you, expert. In any case, you need to reach room number 507, where the CEO supposedly resides. And then, get Hope to answer your questions. His old-timey flip phone vibrates. Speaking of, you've got any left? If you've got any left for me, it's now or never. I'm needed at the art hall now. How should I approach the building? I've told you everything you know. Just do what I do all the time. And that is... scout the situation, then decide. Right, I forgot that's what you do all the time. You mean scouting? No, stating the obvious. The phone vibrates again. Well, that's it for me. Arturo is pestering me to show up at the Elysium 5 minutes ago. Tell him I kindly suggest he should go fuck himself. Not in 1,000 years. Well, good luck with your mission, soldier. With a mock salute, he disappears inside his car and drives away. Nothing left for me but to head in. Still, I'm anxious. New? I will ban you. On the spot. The disrespect. There are two approaches to choose from, and whichever I pick, I will have to stick with it. If I force my way in and assert my authority, bad cop style, that should make an impression. Bad bitch coming in with the entire court behind her back, bluffing her way to victory. Sneaking in and politely asking for cooperation seems like the less disruptive, more me option. But it's not like being me has taken me anywhere thus far. Shit. I kinda wish I was still stuck in my routine where I didn't need to be doing things like developing a personality. Someone had knocked on the fourth wall. It's a bit of a coin flip, honestly, but I gotta make a choice here. How do I approach double spiral? Do you want to be aggressive, or do I want to be covert? Now this choice I'm going to leave to you. You got 2 minutes to decide on. Clock's ticking. And while you do decide, I will continue musing as to what we do. As to how I would go about it. Considering our current personality traits, what we can do, or rather what I am leaning towards. Better stay covert, huh? Alright then. Being aggressive is not me. I didn't even want to think about the headaches I'd have to deal with. New trait? Not into a bad cop shtick. The less disruptive I am, the better the chance they won't get pissed off at me. And I do need hope to be cooperative. This good cop approach should pay off eventually. Alright, let's do this. I cloak myself in shadows and let my instinct take over. The lobby isn't well lit, so it's not hard to get behind the lone security guard. He does notice something is wrong with the security cameras and hits the display a few times, but once he's done, I'm already inside an emergency staircase and making the descent. The doors to the deepest floor are locked, but it takes just a bit of brute force. And I am inside. Hello, Double Spiral. Thought you wouldn't see me again, huh? Assholes. I look around and find an emergency evacuation map. Bullseye. Looks like all the information I need is here. There it is. Room 507. Last time she went aggressive, she beat up someone with a ladle. Fair point. But do remember, we are a La Sombra, and we hate groveling. Someone comes around. Looks like one of Hope's nerdy ghouls is here to sniff around, but I'm already in the shadows. I slink away as she starts patrolling the corridor, checking if everything is okay. Cameras, body heat sensors, electronic locks. Still, I'm managing. I remain cautious, just like Kadir would want me to, but it's surprisingly easy for me to avoid security. Progressing toward room 507 is far easier than expected. I reach the Double Spiral offices where, just like Kadir said, hordes of ghouls are slaving away for their company. Deep learning, spyware, social media manipulation, yada yada. The important thing right now is everyone is staring at their own screen, so it's easy for me to keep sneaking. Aside from the fact she still seems to be on my trail, only slowed by the fact she's thorough in her search. I'd better pick up the pace. There it is, the final corridor. Time to announce myself. I slowly walk to the end of the corridor. There it is, room 507. The door looks harder to take care of than the other ones in this place. Probably won't be able to take care of it the same way I did to others. The door to the office of the current Double Spiral CEO. This fucking company. I get pissed off, but I'm trying to control it. There's a camera by the door. If she knows what to look for, she can't probably see I'm here on screen. But just to make sure, I knock on the door. Hope, I'm a Camarilla detective and I will need you to answer some questions. Hope, I know you're in there. Open the door. I will not leave until you do. I'm here on the behalf of the Sheriff of New York City. Hope? I keep pounding on the door and calling her name. After a minute or so, a voice rings out in the intercom. Is this thing on? I guess it is. Alright, I got your message loud and clear. I'll meet you in the offices. I'll be right there. Looks like you made it past poor Nastya. Get back to the offices and keep her company. She's probably beyond pissed off about you eluding her grasp, but don't make it a big deal, okay? Thank you for your cooperation. I will be right there. What's up? Long time no see. On the one hand, clothes you could reasonably expect to find in any CEO's wardrobe. On the other, a body covered in tattoos, flashy jewelry, dyed hair, and wild makeup. The thought that she might be yet another CEO playing the nonconformist crosses my mind, but she strikes me as someone who's more than happy to live in her own little bubble. Still, I won't be fooled. She is the boss of Double Spiral. So, how did you find me? Sheriff Kadir Al-Asmai did. You'd have to ask him. I take out a new cigarette without thinking. You can't smoke in here, lady. Just let her. Don't treat me like I'm your enemy. I come in peace. A deep, relaxing drag. So, when did you realize I was here? Right at the start. There was a momentary laser malfunction. Lasted a second or two, hasn't tripped an alarm, but I guess something was off. That's it? Hunches have gotten me every job I've ever had. Hunches save my life anytime I get into a messy situation. These days, the reality is too complicated to rely on anything else. Can't find a better head of security than our Nastya, and her hunches are the main reason why. They're like a sixth sense. You know, I'm fairly certain this is not our Hope. Looks like the diablerie went wrong. Just a hunch. Haven't I seen you somewhere? Dunno. A club, maybe? Yeah, last year, soon after I was embraced. I visited that one club in that refurbished warehouse and you were there. You've got a memorable aura. Yeah, I DJ and help out there from time to time. Gotta show my face if I want to make it big. And why don't you focus on that? Following that career path doesn't exactly seem compatible with being head of security for Double Spiral. Not just because the necessary skill sets are so different. Nasty looks at Hope. Working at Double Spiral provides a lot of benefit to someone who relies on the internet for promotion, lady. The slow aging is just a nice perk. Lovely chat, girls, but I'd love it if you saved it for later. I'm CEO now. I have a lot of duties I must pretend to handle. I just need to ask you a few questions. Sure, yeah. Call me if you need me. I've got a weird hunch about this one too. Don't worry, I'll disappear as quietly as I arrived. Yeah, I prefer to be sure that you left, lady, so that I can report it to my boss. We'll talk security later. Don't worry, this shit happens. For now, take 5. Nastya leaves and I'm left alone with Hope in the corner of the office. Feels funny to stand here in front of you. Oh, and why is that? You people had me fired from my job before I was embraced. Ah, I see. You're the Sawinski girl from Lodestar. Yeah. Somehow I never put 2 and 2 together. So, you're the Lasombra rep for this city now, huh? As she's talking to me, she keeps tapping at her phone with terrifying speed. I don't feel like I have her full focus, and it's getting on my nerves. Just so you know, I have no idea why you've taken Kara Montgomery's place, and I doubt you'd tell me, but the bitch deserves to burn in hell. Hell yeah, she does. Wait, did you just admit... Hold your horses. No. Jesus, this is why normal CEOs pay for PR people to talk for them. I only agree that she's a horrible person in every way that counts. Nothing more. Does she know that's what you think of her? Why did she let you take her position in the first place? What? I will just cut through the bullshit, okay, Miss Lodestar? I guess this is about Jesse and Kara covering his creepy ass. You spent months on his case, and you'd like some closure. Pretty much. Well, here's your closure. Double Spiral has severed practically all ties with them. They don't work here, they get no company money, they probably won't ever show up here again. The company's not their circus anymore, and the workers are not their monkeys. I'm in charge now, so yeah, if there's anything you'd like from me, I'm all ears. It wasn't just Jesse and his sister. This company has ingrained structures of abuse and immoral. I ordered internal investigations and audits. Everyone related to those illicit activities was disciplined. Legal actions, firings, and rebukes, all depending on the severity of their misdemeanors. I don't have a stomach for all that creepy corporate shit, so I'm trying to steer this ship in the right direction. Don't know what else I can tell you. Yep, she got fixed. Definitely. For fuck's sake. No matter how I look at it, seems like she's done everything I hoped to achieve. The Montgomery plan is over. The Queen Bitch, a symbol of everything that's wrong with tech CEOs, is gone. Jesse, that perverted embezzling son of a bitch, is gone. I should be glad. So, why is there a sinking pit in my stomach? This doesn't feel right. Probably not. But hey, I look at this company like the mafias in gangster movies. You don't really win by dismantling one. Another one will just as quickly take its place. You can only win by ensuring the organization gets the best possible leader. So in Devil Spiral's case, the best you can hope for, no pun intended, is me. The biggest case in my professional life, solved by some weirdo who fucked Kara and Jesse over in presumably underhanded ways. It doesn't get more anticlimactic than this. Fucking hell. I won't ask her how she did it, but why would she tell me? All I can guess is she's an outcast who decided to get her hands dirty and obtain power to do something she considered good. Something I've always been afraid to do. Anyway, I feel for you, but I have a lot of work to do. So, if this wasn't just a trip down memory lane and you have any other questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, okay? I feel like a car just ran me over, but I need to keep my shit together. Right, a few days ago, the Anarch Baron was found dead in his office. Are you familiar with the case? Douglas Callahan. Of course I'm familiar. Every kindred one line is talking about it. And what are they saying? They're accusing everyone. I mean, it is the internet. Are they accusing you? Why would they do that? I found a peculiar note in Callahan's remains. It had your name on it. Huh? What can you say about this? Nothing. I never met the guy. I've never even seen him. He wasn't my crowd. Then why did he have a note with your name in his pocket? Why were Walt Disney's last written words Kurt Russell? No clue. Why are they? I'll probably check after the stream. I watch her closely, but nothing suggests she's hiding anything. Well, the note actually contained 3 other names and nothing else. Agathon, D'Angelo, Tamika. Ringing any bells now? Her finger, which hasn't stopped moving across the phone touchscreen since I first saw her, freezes. Yeah, it kinda does, actually. It's a short list of promising and unaffiliated kindred that was making the rounds in NYC a few months ago, in case anyone needed a hero for hire. I didn't know Callahan had it. I know Sophie Langley did, as well as a few Primogen. Not sure about the Anarchs. Who could have prepared this list? One of the local information brokers. A short but telling pause. Anonymous. How anonymous? Sort of anonymous. She's obviously conflicted about whether she should tell me. Or maybe she's pretending so that I worm it out of her. I've been a good sport ever since I walked through her door. Maybe appealing to her sense of morality will work. I really need your help. I want to prevent the tensions between the local anarchs and the court from escalating, and every lead helps. She briefly considers her options, then gives up. It's my sire, Carter Vander Vaden. Oh. He's brokering information? Everyone knows becoming the Prince of New York is his ultimate goal, and that he wants to make friends in all the high places. Sharing useful intel is a pretty effective way to achieve that. So you're telling me that he, a Malkavian Primogen, sold this list to an Anarch Baron? Sure looks like it. Why would he suggest his own child to somebody? To have a person on the inside. Just another way to further his information web. Wouldn't they realize you two are close? The story going around is he left me alone and I hate his guts. Well, at least half of that is true. She's talkative. Probably sees me as a way to undermine Carter. Let's see how much further I can push her. Huh. I was wondering how someone like you can control a company like Double Spiral. I suppose a friend in high places would explain it. Yeah, lucky me. Not happy about being a girl boss? Leading one of the biggest IT companies in the country? A boss, huh? She stares at dozens of displays on the wall in front of her. Do you remember the Y2K era internet? Jesus, I barely remember the internet at all. My people can't really use it. But yeah, I guess sort of remember. Forums, GeoCities, browser wars, all those handmade amateurish web pages. It was a golden age. Everyone was able to freely express their creativity and obsessions in this abstract new frontier. No formulated rules, every site was a distinct new universe to explore. You know, as a kid, for some reason I kept saving every web page that moved or changed me in some way. I don't even know why I did it, but today a folder with these is one of my greatest treasures. Fast forward to today, I'm the boss of a company that has the one overarching goal. Steer the online narrative in every possible way that benefits the Camarilla. And because the online world is so fucked right now, I can't do it using only 5 websites or so. Every day I deploy thousands of believable sock puppets to force some belief on the masses. Right now, they're being managed by these ghouls. Soon, they will be partially managed by AI. Basically, an all-American version of the Chinese 50-cent party. A new pattern of public opinion guidance. Ever since I was a teen, I've pretended to be different people online for fun. Aping the posting patterns of others was something I turned out to be horrifyingly good at. I became even better at it after the Embrace. Something about the voice of Malkav in my head. After several years, I became a one-person internet empire. I could impersonate anyone. I dream of tulips. A humble florist from Chattanooga who strives to share positive energy with their audience using photos of beautiful bouquets, motivational quotes, and the occasional The Office gif. Volva Hufflepuff, a single mom from Brightston who reckons all these trans women must be bonkers and spends seemingly every waking moment of her life having a row with anyone who disagrees. Polygon Classicist, a 19-year-old kid from Utah who keeps posting Y2K 3D renders of poorly proportioned, scantily clad ladies and telling his audience to remember what they took from you. Somehow this talent has got me here, where it's no longer fun but work. Work I usually entrust to these ghouls because of all my duties. I want out before my entire fucking mind gets monetized. But Carter won't have that, so I'll keep doing my best for both him and Double Spiral's investors. So that's why she wants me to look at him. I assume most of your operations focus on New York City. A lot of them, yeah. How do you imitate a New Yorker voice with these sock puppet accounts? Living in Manhattan and being mentally unstable makes this shit easy. To a normal, well-adjusted person from outside the city, everyone here seems mentally unstable. Ever watched that 9/11 Howard Stern show? No. Check it out someday. It's educational. Ask anyone in NYC about it, and they are like, it was a great bonding moment. He was helping us make sense of everything. He kept saying what we're all thinking. Then you listen to it, and it's everyone yelling at we need to nuke something, maybe the entire world, get rid of all the Muslims, fuck human rights, no investigations, take their oil. Cheery. You watch it, you study it, you witness what that specific brand of humor in the face of tragedy, you understand that nothing outside of NYC really exists for the people who live here. Or the vampires. Yeah, you just got it, huh? A foundational text, really. Whenever I need to get in that New York mindset for work, I let it play in the background. Works like a charm. Seriously, give it a shot sometime. Someday I might. For now, I think I will confront Van der Weyden with what you've told me. Or is it what you haven't told me? What's the story? Me? Of course I haven't told you anything. You're such a good investigator, you figured it out by yourself. And if he asks, just tell him Kaiser sold you the info. That should do the trick. I see. Thank you. What for? I did nothing. Let Nastya show you out. And if you don't know Van der Weyden's address, just ask her. Yeah, it was a pot shot at J.K. Rowling. Thank you for having me, Mr. Van der Weyden. No need, no need. I'll be happy to assist your investigation in whatever way I can, Miss Lewinsky. That sickeningly sweet smile. And his office, spacious but oppressive. Here's a man who knows how to subtly unnerve people. But does he even realize it? And I'm sure the presence of the esteemed Addison Payne will guarantee I'm totally transparent. Am I alright, Addison? Looks like I've interrupted a friendly meeting. In the far corner of the room I spot glasses of blood and 2 spittoons. Vices and follies of the rich. Are you sure I'm not wasting your time? Not at all. Busy as I might be, I can't say I'm not curious about the findings in the case. Yes, my thoughts exactly. So how are you handling your newfound responsibilities? I'm managing. I'll start by asking the obvious. Where were you the night Douglas Callahan met his, untimely demise? Van der Weyden raises an eyebrow and then lets out a restrained chuckle. Hear that, Edison? I might be suspected of foul play. Exciting, isn't it? Carter, no antics, please. Just answer the question. Of course. Well, I was right here. Just like I told Prince Panhard, as much as I'd love to celebrate my power, sometimes one has to celebrate the amount of work piled up on their desks. So your alibi is you were right here. Alibi? Yes, I suppose. Can anyone back up your story? Well, I did make a few business-related phone calls as I was working, so there's that. That doesn't really answer my question, does it? He regards me with a state reserved for a troublesome child. Miss Lewinsky, this right here is my private little fortress, a space specifically designed to make me focus. I don't really let people in to break that focus. Aside from the occasional esteemed guests such as yourselves, of course, and a few wonderful Mexican women responsible for the cleaning duties. So you don't have an alibi. The look in his eyes screams, why won't you at least pretend to try and get on board with my program, kid? I suppose, but why would that matter? Because I found something that belongs to you and the victim's person. Pardon me? Took the words right out of my mouth. We're not talking a murder weapon of something of that caliber, of course. Now, it was a short list of 4 names, unaffiliated kindred whose services could be useful to anyone interested in toppling the current power balance in NYC. Tamika, Hope, D'Angelo, Agathon. Excuse me, Miss Lewinsky, but I'm afraid I don't follow. How is that something that belongs to me? I have it on good authority that it's a short list you've been shopping around to anyone interested here in NYC, be it the Camarilla or the Anarchs. Addison tenses up, and his host is not happy about it. This is just preposterous. I'm calling your bluff right here, miss. No, the bluff is coming right now. Mr. Van der Weyden, if you want to voice concerns about the information I have, how about you voice them to Kaiser, not me? Addison turns to Van der Weyden, clenching his lips and gripping his wheelchair armrests tightly. Congratulations. You made the Malkavians stop smiling. Now you know you got him. For a brief moment, the ever-present smile of Van der Weyden's face goes missing. The expression replaces it reminds me of a horrifying void. Like a sneak peek into what's really going on in his soul. He quickly collects himself, but the image is burned into my retinas. To think these sorts of unsavory rumors are circulating around me, I should be grateful you let me know. So you're denying it? Of course I'm denied it, categorically. You can bet your life savings on it. I certainly hope it is nothing more than an unfortunate blunder. And too, Brute? Come on, Edison, we've known each other for years. Yes, and what about it? I will... Sweet Jesus, Addison, I will get back to you in a second. Any more questions, Miss Lewinsky? Any of the names on the list sound familiar to you? No. I mean, yes, that is my long-estranged child on your list, but that's just another reason why I'm flabbergasted anyone would consider it mine. I see. Well, I hope you understand why I'm considering you a prime suspect now. Yes, and I swear to clear my name as soon as possible. Scout's honor. Any more questions? I'm good for now. Sheriff Arasmai will probably contact you later. I will get in touch with you myself, ASAP. Once again, thank you for your work. He extends his hand toward me, practically forcing me to shake it. Then he puts his hand on my shoulder to lead me to the door. All too eager to see me off? Out of sheer curiosity, Mr. Van der Weyden, I have one more question. It may be a bit random. I really didn't need to ask it, but I wanted him to die inside for a moment. Of course, my dear. His slightly strained tone suggests I may have succeeded. You seem like a person who couldn't live outside of NYC. By chance, have you listened to Howard Stern's talk show after the World Trade Center fell? A tad unsure, but once again, carefully controlled chuckle escapes his mouth. Geez, that is random. But, well, New York, born and raised, just like I said. Of course I did. Your opinion? Same as everyone else? It was the spiritual guidance we needed that day, coming from the unlikeliest of places. A visceral response that verbalized everything we'd have felt. A beautiful moment of unity. Not that I'm into lowbrow jokes about Pamela Anderson and the typical shock value the show didn't offer, but as far as I'm concerned, Howard did an indispensable thing that day. Why are you asking? No particular reason. I thought it might give me some insight into the kind of person you are. Well, that's the kind of person I am. Just your average New Yorker. So it seems. Well then, I'll leave you and Mr. Payne to your plans of conquering the city. Conquering the... Oh, that's spicy. Addison, I love this girl. She's gonna go far, I'm telling you. She's got that spunk, that glint in her eye. Goodbye, Miss Sowinski. I wish you a pleasant respite and a swift success in your investigation. Good night. I make it a point to bow to Addison's servant, not the man himself. Doubt he even noticed, but at least these invisible displays of rebellion make me feel a little better about myself. Alright. The faster I leave, the better. Julia? Father? How are you holding up? I'm fine, stumbling around and hoping for a miracle to happen, like always. No better place to ask for a miracle than behind these gates, you know. So I hear. As I pass him the report about Aisling and Agathon, I look around, but Benoit is nowhere to be seen. So, where's that clown? You mean Benoit? You're the one who said it, not me. In another parish, taking care of a personal issue for me. Thought you might appreciate that. God, I really do. Listen, can't you think of something to placate him? Placate him how exactly? Benoit won't accept anything less than me joining your convent. He's like a worried parent. A basic gesture here and there, showing up in church from time to time and pretending to listen would get him off your case. I mean, I've been through this song and dance before with my own worried parents when I was a teenager. Wandering in the forest until mass was over, not even being able to smoke because they pick up the scent. Not the best moments of my time, you know? Part of the reason I'm distancing myself from them. I don't need this fake energy in my life, and I'm honestly weirded out by asking me to lie. By you asking me to lie. Also, just between you and me, I was in a familiar situation. Back when I was being gently persuaded to become part of the clergy. But that, of course, never amounted to anything. Partly because the previous candidate that was endorsed by our Resident Father had decided to drop out of the clergy and pursue a career in IT. No, really, that's what happened. I'm not asking you to lie, Julia. Let me ask you this way. Are you a spiritual person? I guess I am. Kind of. Always was. Suddenly being able to see ghosts did not change a thing. I think it's mostly because seeing the world as purely material seemed boring to me, somehow. You are, and you were raised Catholic. So can't you find a way to express that spirituality in our church? I don't see a way right now. And why is that? I sighed. Too many people would think of my soul needs to be saved because I live with a woman, for starters. I don't know, there's a lot of reasons. Like the sin of drinking blood every other night, or feeling some primal fear whenever I walk by a clergyman whose faith seems to actually be genuine. That one sounds like an excuse. It's about your relationship with God, not other people. In theory. But back in the old country, I've heard my share of homilies that felt like complete condemnations of my kind, and none that would condemn hate towards people like me. That's always the case with rural peasantry. So traditionalist. And you know, when church-adjacent people try to stir shit around your very existence every few months, some minimal support would be appreciated. Sorry, all you can count on is silent complicity. I get it. I know there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of undeserved hurt going around, but... Listen, I don't even want to talk about it. I fucking hate the tone that I use when I talk about it. I sound preachier than those preachers, and my biggest dream is just not to give a shit. But I remember things, like the story about a guy from my hometown. Most macho guy around with a jaw that could sharpen a knife on. He became an actor in Warsaw. Very successful, deservedly so. The capital might not be NYC, but it's still a big city, and big cities go to the heads of bumpkins like us. In his case, it resulted in a dream of coming out to his parents. He was surrounded by all these stories of openly queer people, played one even, so he thought he had a chance at making it work. So he goes back to his town, tells everyone he's gonna live his truth. His dad, a ruling party adjacent businessman, curses him. His uncle takes him into the bushes and starts to destroy him physically. It's so bad he gets put in the ICU. His face and jaw get ruined. For good. Fast forward a year or two, with his career over, the guy is stuck in his parents' rustic house. With no other path to follow, he turns to God, who tells him to forgive his kin. Everything is fine again. Angelic choirs sing of divine mercy. A kind-looking priest talks about protecting our families. A man sits in front row of the church, a disfigured smile on his face. But that story alone didn't drive me away. One time, when I saw how blissful he was, I could swear he was actually able to hear God whispering to him. He looked like a saint. It fucked me up so bad, I left. I feel nauseated now. Maybe I'm still reeling from hearing about Kara and Jesse Montgomery. Now, if we could never talk about it again, that'd be great. I know that I tend to sound like a loser who loves to pontificate about shit I can't change, but I at least keep trying to change myself, damn it. I won't offer empty platitudes, but I think I understand what I was meant to understand. I hope I haven't insulted you in any way. Whatever. I've learned not to hold people responsible for what the rest of their organization is doing. It would be hard looking in the mirror otherwise. Not that there's much I could see in the mirror right now. I'm just wondering about one thing. There is always a cross on your chest. I like how it goes with my outfit. Is it just a fashionable accessory to you? It's a memento reminding me of a broken promise, that's all. I won't inquire further. Good. Have a good night, Father. I find her sitting in bed, scrolling through Pinterest on her phone. So, how are you doing, detective? I fall on the bed, bury my face in the pillows, and scream. Bad, huh? I don't want to tell her about Double Spiral. I still have to figure out how I feel about it. I'm just not cut out for this. Oh, shut up. If you aren't, who is? Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, Columbo, Mads Mikkelsen's boyfriend from Hannibal, whatever his name was. I don't know. Someone who can actually put two and two together. You can't fool me into believing you're incompetent, you dumbass. I read your articles. Don't pretend you suddenly forgot how to do your job. I haven't, but I've got no evidence, no witnesses, no promising leads, nothing. I just stumble around, assuming things, talking big. So you're like, I don't know, Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, and he actually solved his case, and then wished he never took it up. What was that supposed to cheer me up? I'm just saying that the situation you're in sounds an awful lot like Chinatown. Depraved elites, big plans for the city, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's depressing. It is what it is. I just think you should approach it in this way and look for a solution to your problems outside of the box. Not as a mystery, but maybe like a trap to escape. Maybe. I throw myself on the bed again and lie there for a bit, staring at the ceiling. Then I approach Dakota from behind and tuck her sleeve to draw her attention. Psst. Hey. Huh? Put the phone away. Now? Come on, Jules. We can't do this every night. I've got my own work and I need to worry about an anemia, you said so yourself. Besides, I was just looking for inspiration. I rub against her clothes with my face like a cat. You're impossible. Haven't you noticed what's going on in the news? People are going absolutely insane about this virus, canceling trips and orders and... Pretty please? I can't, honey. I have to replenish my stash, and besides, I'm worried about overuse. My brain is working a bit too slow, my balance is off, I was just thinking how I miss meditation. She's giving me clear signals she just wants an excuse, and even though it would be the responsible thing to do, I know she's insatiable. She's usually the one who takes the initiative. Let's try a final push. I bite her ear and whisper in it. No drugs tonight. Let's do it raw. She throws her hands up in the air. Victory. Jesus, you're a greedy little these days. Always have been, haven't you noticed? That was somewhat wholesome. Let's see what the next day will bring. Oh, you're up early. Yeah, told you got work to do. I scratch. That's admirable. Reminds me of that one quote you always used to throw around. A lot of people say you can't smoke dope and get drunk when you get kids, and that's not true. You can, but you still gotta get up in the morning. That's being responsible. That's the one. I never understood why it was so hilarious to you. Neither did I. I just accepted the mystery and made it my personal credo. I'm a responsible person. Are you planning to have kids? Not in a million years. By the way, you've got mail. Envelope by the door. It's from Kadir. Inside is a message saying he won't be able to make it tonight, but will rendezvous tomorrow to meet D'Angelo. He wants me to lay low until then, and to stay in this apartment if possible. Apparently nobody knows where Tamika is. They know only she's in trouble and he does not want me near it. Well, what is it? Looks like I need to hit the town. Next lead. Probably useless, but the investigation continues. It would be fun to spend some more time together, you know. Dakota, you know this is important to me. I know. But I'd like to know if I'm important to you as well. That makes two of us. Just a few more days. I will find the killer, kick his ass, get a promotion, and we'll go and do something we've never done before. Like what? Good question. I'll think of something. For now, catch up with your work. I need to get going. Fine. Good luck. Stay safe. You know it. This place is weirdly empty tonight. Ah, well. I'll have the usual. I feel there's a big, what are we doing in this relationship talk coming if I don't change my ways. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it hasn't already happened. But most of the time, Dakota has seemed happy enough just listening to the stories of my own life. Even if it's all boring and normal to me, it's exotic and engrossing to her. Guess I have that going for me. Ah, well. I have no idea what to do tonight, so I'll just do the obvious thing and wing it. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. Or however it went. Time to lose myself in these busy streets and pray that the answers I'm looking for are out there. And if they're not, maybe I'll at least find some amusement or blood instead. Let's see. Camera shyness or Prince of Cats. Let's do this one. No, I don't want to be a part of your goddamn interview. Look, can I not be bothered for one goddamn second? You're not listening. I do not know with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. The man who said it? Albert Einstein. Even he couldn't predict what we know today. World War III is being fought using coughs and sneezes. We're in the middle of a biological battleground, but people don't want to wake up to this reality. This might be your last chapter for the night. Understandable. The self-righteous tone of some sensationalist journal hag rouses me from a pleasant daydream. Even though our excellent investigative journalists have been ringing the alarm for years, dressed in an obnoxiously eye-catching two-piece, she stands out like a rubber duck against the surrounding drabness. Her timid cameraman dutifully follows her every move, but his mind seems to be elsewhere at the moment. Good for you, buddy. So why don't we ask the average resident of New York City what they think? Excuse me, miss. She approaches me with a spring in her step. The cameraman can barely keep up. Jesus, can't they bother anyone else? Excuse me, miss. What is your opinion on China and its biological war against... China? I don't care. Exactly. China don't care. But we, at the very least, we the American people should definitely care, right? I try to keep moving, but she dances around me, desperately trying to stick her mic under my nose. How she keeps her balance in those high heels and at that speed remains a mystery. If we ignore it, she backs off. Surely. I quicken my pace in the hope she loses interest, but she's one tough cookie. Damn it. Just a few questions and we'll be done here, miss. A rational debate. All I'm asking for. I'm doing my best to avoid being recorded, but the cameraman is relentless. It's only a matter of time before he realizes me being blurry is not a temporary glitch. Gotta keep my cool. Leave me alone, you smooth-brained lizard woman from hell. Not until you talk to me about China. Mikey, keep up with us. Why the hell is she so determined to get me? Maybe something about my style makes me look like the perfect straw man of an America-hating college kid she can try to destroy on camera. Miss, are you one of these China-loving kids? Tiananmen apologist? Killing landlords with Mao? Is that your thing? Is that the little red book I spy in your pocket, huh? I can almost feel my brain losing its wrinkles. I start to sort of understand how my dad could be so brainwashed by watching TV. You think China dropping a biological bomb on this country is not something you should care about? Is this how short-sighted you are? Miss! Fuck it, at that point I can't guarantee the camera footage doesn't violate the masquerade, so I might as well take drastic precautions to get rid of it. Plus, I can't stand being around her for a second longer. Now, Mikey seems alright, so... A large delivery truck zooming along the road plants an idea in my head. I narrow my eyes, sharpening my eyesight, and quietly beckon the shadows that silently pay witness to our little drama. Their presence swiftly becomes tangible to me, the absence of light responding like limbs yearning to be flexed. Feeling in control, I order the shadows to yank the camera out of the man's hands and throw it right under the oncoming truck. It happens so swiftly, no one notices what has transpired. The camera lands on the road just in time for the truck to run over it. The expensive equipment turns into a cloud of plastic debris, most of which is scattered in every direction. As I walk away, the furious scream of the interviewer makes me think that it may have given up on the memory card, wherever it ended up. You people have dog brains. Prolonged frustration and a short euphoric rush at the end. Sounds like every journalism-related episode in my life. I don't ever want to go back. All of a sudden, the world ends. Everything stops. I'm lost in the darkness, there is not even a heartbeat to guide me. It's like sleep paralysis, except it feels as if I suddenly woke up from reality instead of a dream. Instinctively, I react to it the same way I used to react whenever I woke up in the middle of the night, aware but not able to move or speak. I just wait for it to pass. But, instead of slowly regaining control, I just see a bizarre room emerge from the darkness. Just look at her, flesh refusing its fate. It is. It is not the one you were looking for, is it? He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep is silent before the shearers, he did not open his mouth. There is none righteous, not even there. Not even one, there is none who understands, there is none who seeks, for God all have turned aside, together they have become useless. If anyone curses his father or mother, he must be put to death. Raging waves of the sea, foaming up their own shame, wandering stars for whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Whenever I become one with the darkness, that's always this nagging fear that it might be impossible to become the normal me again. But instead of the shadows returning to normal, I will let my consciousness be dragged somewhere else. Somewhere between the worlds. Somewhere like this. Wherever this is. This is the first time that fear has come true. Are you afraid? It's a bad idea to answer. Don't do it. Yes. Excellent. 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 I think I need to sit in this chair. I think I need to sit in this chair. I sit in the chair. Still in the lean years and unworthy of joining the rest. However, the path is open, and it is a path of obligation, liability, a debt that will be repaid one day. And when she asks you what brought you here, let your response be a scent of death. Suddenly I feel my mind beginning to drift away from here. I'm slowly starting to regain control over my thoughts. No, you aren't. Yes, I am. Fine, think whatever you want. I find myself in a dark corner, leaning against a wet, cold brick wall. I think I'm conscious again. Back from whatever it was. Awake, but in an unfamiliar place. Well, let's just hope that it's still New York City. I emerge from the shadows to see where I am. A source of light above my head momentarily blinds me, causing me to instinctively raise my hand. As I do, I hit some sort of garbage bag with my hand. It falls to the floor, letting loose a metallic din. What the fuck? A woman. I feel her hand grabbing my clothes. She brutally drags me closer. With one of my hands already above my head, I raise the other. Easy. Peace. I mean you no harm. How long have you been here? I don't know. I got no idea what I'm doing. Here. Or in general, really. It's like sometimes the forces I control figure out how to control me. What are you, a junkie? No. You're kindred. Yeah. Keep your shit together, damn it. I'm Julius Sawinski, the representative of the La Sombra in New York City. Camarilla? Uh-huh. I'm a Camarilla investigator. Well, if you came here to catch me, you're gonna be sorry you tried, Miss La Sombra. No. Stop right here. I wasn't ordered to catch anybody. I'm just investigating Douglas Callahan's death. This surprises her. She loosens her grip slightly. Callahan is dead? Nothing left but a rotten carcass and a musty robe. Well, I'll be damned. I've been off the grid for too long. What brought you here? A memory from a different world pops up in my head. Yeah, I think I know the right answer. A scent of death. She lets me go. I rub my eyes and finally get a good look at her face. Yep, that's Tamika. She's gorgeous, and judging by her nomadic clothes and particularly fierce aura, she's probably an outlander. Clan Gangrel. Clan Gangrel is made up of those who have fallen through the cracks of society. They call the cruelest neighborhoods home, and they consider this a point of pride. They hold few domains and follow no prince. This clan embraces from the ranks of those who have already spilled blood and had their blood spilled, who have survived the harshest conditions, who have fought against horrible odds and still came out on top. Prison gang leaders, vagrants, and any other kind who has seen the darkest sides of this world. Occasionally, I'm told you'll see one who breaks this mold and pursues knowledge or influence instead. Among the Gangrel, respect is everything, and is always earned, never given. Commonly referred to as wolves, ferals, and outcasts. Or, if you want to piss them off, animals, strays, or savages. We're learning so many vampire slurs tonight. We'll have a talk, you and I. Sure, what's your name? Tamika. Pass me a smoke, will you? If only it could, my heart would skip a beat right now. Tamika. I guess once again, someone out there led me to a proper path. Yeah, sure. When I pass her a cigarette, I realize I'm standing in something wet. Something that smells tasty. I look at my feet and I see a puddle of water mixed with blood. Oh, I get it. Are these guys First Light? The high-powered guns and expensive-looking outfits. Flashbangs, tasers, all chosen specifically to combat the undead. I recognize the equipment from some horror stories I've heard. First Light, SI, US SOCOM, whatever they call themselves, they are all bleed out the same, usually before I have the chance to ask them a single question. Government-funded Inquisitors. Some claim they're connected to the US government, some claim they're supported by the anti-Kindred faction in the Holy See. Some have even wilder theories. Like they're being financed by Kane himself. That wouldn't surprise me. You did this all by yourself? Have you seriously seen nothing? Nothing at all? I shake my head. Believe it or not, I have no idea how I got here. I just kinda let the shadows guide me. Is that a somber thing? I've never actually talked to any of you. No idea what you guys can actually do. Still learning the ropes myself. Go with the flow and all that. My embrace was just a few months ago. Huh, so you folks are with the Ivory Tower now? Last I checked, you were with the Sabbat. The Camis wouldn't forgive all of the trouble you caused them overnight. The Sabbat, an extremist sect that fully enjoys their predatory tendencies and does not think highly of mortals. Largely believed to be embroiled in bringing about an eschatological vampire-on-vampire conflict known as the Gehenna War. They were driven away from the West over the last few decades. I've heard that New York City used to be Sabbat-controlled until 1999. The La Sombra, my clan, used to be the thinkers behind these wackos, but we've since thrown our lot in with the Camarilla. Again, I'm practically still a neonate. I just know there's a lot of bad blood between my clan and the others, and that I can expect at least one glare of pure contempt whenever I visit Elysium. Huh, I see. We'll smoke in silence for a short while. Is there a large SI presence in New York City? The Kindred are classified as a terrorist presence. There's no other American city that was hit as hard by terrorism as this one. All secret agencies need symbolic victories. You do the math. And you are still taking these guys on here of all places? As you can see all around you. Aren't they extremely dangerous? Almost got me good last year. Took me a few weeks to get back in action. Then why are you doing this? Those motherfuckers have an unfortunate tendency to hurt people I care about. My brothers, my sisters. I see. I don't know how it is in other cities, but here, funny enough, they only seem to target marginalized and radicalized kindred. Ones that could theoretically pose a threat to the current order. Meanwhile, the establishment in New York City hasn't really changed ever since Calibros stepped down. Quite the opposite. Every SI raid in the city has only strengthened the old paradigm. Almost makes you think that their goal is something other than protecting the citizens from the blind body menace. Tamika throws her cigarette into the puddle, unfinished, and crushes it under her heel. She obviously has difficulty smoking. It's like she has only ever tried it a few times. I assume she saw me carrying a pack and decided to try to calm her nerves after the battle. Or maybe she just wanted an excuse to make our conversation less awkward. Who knows? So, are you planning to snitch on me, Shadow Girl? And why would I do that? Let me get this straight. You really think I am dumb enough to believe for 1 second that a Camarilla investigator would just so happen to stumble upon the valley where I just killed a bunch of SI motherfuckers? If so, you're the one who's dumb, sister. I don't care if you think I'm dumb. I don't care about SI. And I don't care if you believe it was a happy accident I met you, especially considering not even the sheriff knows where you are. But I care about solving the mystery of Callahan's death, and as it happens, you're one of the pieces of the puzzle. What? What are you talking about? I found this on Hugh's body. Well, what remained of it. I show her the note. She tries to grab it to read it, but I don't let her. Aside from your name, we've got Hope, Agathon, and D'Angelo. You know them? Passingly. Any idea why Callahan would need a list of all of your names? I might know why, yeah. Do you? Absolutely. Do you know a man going by the name of Torque? Huh. Of course I do. Do you know about his connection to Boss Callahan and by proxy this list and me? No? I'm all ears. Well, too bad, because it's classified intel, sister. What do you mean by classified? Not free. Oh, great. As if I were in the position to or could afford any sort of quid pro quo. But fine, let's hear it. What do you want? She motions toward the bodies. I've killed too many of these assholes. They're tightening the screws. As it is, New York City is no longer safe for someone like me. Well, not that it ever was. Oh man, bracing for something unreasonable. What I need you is a way out of the city. You offer that to me? I give you the intel you need. Huh. Would you look at that? That's something I can handle, actually. Yeah. She raises her eyebrows. That's a surprisingly confident answer for a practically still a neonate. I'm something of an immigration officer. Gotta say, we sound awfully close to a cop. Almost as bad. A bureaucrat. I know of a secret pathway that would lead you to the West Coast 100% safe travel. And if you took it, you'd be untraceable. Sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Wait until you see how much it costs. The only reason I know of this route is because a certain Nazi criminal group reached out to me on account of my position and offered a mutually beneficial deal regarding illegal kindred travel. Nosferatu. The clan of the Hidden are the untouchables of our world. Lepers, sewer rats, carnies, scabs, Morlocks. Embraced by a Nosferatu results in extreme disfigurement, a nasty side effect of their blood. Their grotesque areas can mimic birth defects, cancer growths, or horrible injuries. But the Nosferatu are by default the most compassionate of the kindred, probably due to the humiliations they suffer on a daily basis. To blend in, some call on the blood to wear the borrowed faces of their victims or to vanish altogether. Others get very, very good at stagecraft, costumes, prosthetics, and makeup. They call those Cleopatras, I hear. Normally I'd refuse, but they offered me the only thing they can buy me. A lot of cash. Ah, fine then. Money's not an issue. Now that's something I never had a chance to ever say in earnest. Okay then. I guess you want me to help you out before you do anything for me. Of course, but would you even accept this kind of deal? Hell no. Right, so we need to think of something that actually benefits both of us. Orlok? Term you personally take offense to, huh? I mean... She's lost in her thoughts for a moment, then speaks up. Have you met Torg before? In the course of your investigation or before? I wanted to, but on the Anarch side I only managed to meet Mia. She wasn't keen on the idea of two of us meeting. Ah, yes. Mia. Her expression betrays she's got some vicious stories to tell, but it would be beneath her to divulge them. Too bad, maybe it could be a bonded experience. So here's the thing. A few months ago, Tork and I were together. A lot of things happened, and long story short, I no longer feel close to him. But from what I know, he still feels close to me. Back when I thought there might be something between us, I gave him a ring that has a lot of sentimental value to me. And since these days sentimentality is all that keeps me going, I want it back. So my suggestion is, tell Tork's people I sent you to get inside his base of operations, meet up with him, ask him your questions, and convince him to give my ring back. You get to interrogate him, then I got to have my ring back, then you hear my side of the story, then I get to leave the city with your help. Everybody wins, more than once. They will really let me in just because I tell them you sent me? They will, trust me. That sounds too easy. What caused the two of you to drift apart? Irreconcilable differences in worldview. Well, I assume so, but that's a diplomatic answer. If I'm going to involve myself in the relationship or drama of two ex-lovers, I'll need something more to go on. Will you? Ah, it's derived from a slur used against Croatian Romanians, huh? Never knew that. Or you live. Yeah. She picks up her words carefully. I realized they had become an element of his carefully crafted projected image. Having me as a radical partner allowed him to present himself as a mediator while paying lip service to revolutionary ideas. A mediator. That's the 21st century for you. Everyone wants to be a middleman these days and nobody wants to do what's right. Serious? Whenever I hear about Tork from the Ancilla, they talk about him like he's the second coming of Mao. If you ever seen that, it's only because from time to time, people like me pushed him into doing an uneasy thing. Ever heard of the Southern Wolf and the Northern Fox? Both of them want to eat you for dinner, but only the Southern Wolf makes it immediately obvious. The tricky Northern Fox makes eyes and allows you to pet him before taking a bite. Tork loves to surround himself with Northern Foxes. They talk of compromises, they seem reasonable compared to the opposition, but at the end of the day, they have eyes on the same prize: power. Hearing this gives me a foreboding feeling, but I can't quite nail down why. Alright, tell me where to go and I'll tell you where we'll meet later. I'm just chilling at Torque's when suddenly a shrill, loud voice pierces my eardrums. And what the hell are you doing here? Oh, yay, it's the pissy lady from Torque's inner circles. I'm here to see Torque. I figured as much. You should have gone through his security first. Get out. And what if he tells me to stay? Fat chance, move your ass before I throw you out. Maya, it's okay. There he is, walking through the door. One of the most infamous New York City barons. Or as some people started calling him the moment Callahan met his end, the Baron of New York City. Torque, we've talked about this. The situation is a little different now. Tamika sent her. What? Bullshit. I wasn't able to track her down for weeks. Well, I did. This is reason to celebrate, not to get mad. Now, if you allow the two of us a private conversation... No, wait. I want to keep an eye on her. You will keep an eye on the exit, and that will be enough. Please. He puts on his best authoritative tone, and it works. No protests this time. Mia leaves the room. I'm sorry about her. She can be overzealous, but usually that's not a bad thing. Yeah, sure. So has she told you I've been trying to reach you for a few nights? I don't think so. Have you? Well, I'm the dumbass of the court order to investigate Callahan's final death, so considering your connection to the case, I thought it would be prudent for us to talk. Ah, so that's you. Yeah. Now, I know you're probably anxious to hear about Tamika. I'm surprised to hear you two know each other. We actually met through this investigation. Anyway, as I was saying, I know you probably can't wait to hear about her, but I'd like to ask you a few questions first. I understand. Do your job. Did you know Douglas Callahan? Of course I do. We were both barons. Can have professional obligations to meet each other. But that was it. What was your private opinion of him? Same as everyone else's. A racist clown mentally stuck in the 19th century who spent too much time getting the arcs down. I'm glad he's gone. You mean you're glad he met final death? Yeah, well, you know what they say. Hate to see you go, love to watch you leave. Weren't you the first kindred who saw his corpse? I was, but it was his ghouls who found him. By the way, we established that some of them tampered with the crime scene. They were properly disciplined for that. Convenient story. Let's move on. What's your alibi for that night? None. I was running around town the entire night, taking care of various issues. I'm related to Callahan, but I don't intend to divulge into someone from the Ivory Tower. So you have no interest in proving yourself innocent. My official position was made clear. It's the Camarilla who are to blame. It's your job to prove me wrong. Kurva mats. At least for me, I can face a problem that can be solved with pure logic, not... At least for once, can I face a problem that can be solved with pure logic, not politics? Any findings on your side I should know of? Ask Mia. She's the one who handled the murder scene. I'm not privy to all the details. Hope, D'Angelo, Agathon. Any idea who those people are? Can't recall. Sorry. The evidence I've found suggests a potential link between Callahan and Tamika. Any clue? I knew both of them well, but as far as I know, they're never met. That's it. Oh, well, not sure what I expected. He's the kind of guy that could only be pushed to talk if I had something concrete to push him with. Time to move on. Well, regarding Tamika. Finally. I'll cut straight to the chase. She wanted to inform you she will be skipping town for a while. The SI is on her trail, and she needs to lose them ASAP. Oh, fuck. I've told her countless times, if she's in danger, I will always be there for her. Does she think she can find a secure way out of the city in this situation? She's safe. So you say. She's got some other friends in high places. She'll manage to get out. Gotta admit, that's not what I expected to hear. Or what I wanted to hear. Why did she decide to contact me? She wants her ring back. His aura changes in the blink of an eye. Ah, I see now. So that's why she didn't show up herself. Wouldn't even face me when delivering the final insult. Uh-oh, looks like I stepped on a landmine. She said the ring was a symbol of the trust she put in me. No way in hell I'm gonna give it away. Not until she gives me the chance to explain myself. I need that ring to get Tamika to talk, but with the way he's acting, it does not seem likely he'd be willing to part with it. It might require me to act shitty, but maybe... time to change my approach. Lie, lie, lie through your teeth. Or be brutally honest. Tough choice if you ask me. I'm honestly leaning towards lying. But what about you? Decisions. And considering the traits that we have for now, not into a bad cop shtick, so let's be brutally honest then. Fuck it, here we go. Honesty is the best policy. Listen, you're obviously the hottest new thing in town. People like you, people follow you, you're said to be the anarch people think of when they think of New York City. Good for you. But you're obviously way behind when it comes to understanding relationships. Tamika gave it a serious try, she understood her path, she understood yours, she realized they're diametrically opposed. And that's that. You're not going to change her mind by acting like a toxic shithead and forcing her to come grovel at your feet if she wants to get back something that has a great value, sentimental value to her. You want to earn her trust again? Don't act like a power-tripping asshole. Show her you're capable of responding to her concerns and that you're capable of being selfless. That's the only thing you can do to change her mind. Sorry. Okay, I'm done. Ah, fuck me in my big mouth. He approaches the door and throws it wide open. Maya! Yes, boss? We're done here. Leave the lady out as quickly as possible. Yes, boss. I have a lot of things I'd say to describe his behavior, but I don't want to cause a diplomatic incident. No need. I'm going. Thank you for your time. Tell her I'll show her she's wrong. Tell her I will prove myself worthy of that ring if it's the last thing I do. Whatever. I let myself be led out of the building by Mia. Another mission failed. Time to meet Tamika and tell her the bad news. I find her already waiting in front of the Jewish Museum. How did it go? Let me put it this way. I'm not surprised you dumped him. So, you did not succeed. Nah, he got mad and started yelling about how he will prove himself to be worthy of that gift. Then he ran me out of the building. Is she trying to stop herself from laughing? What's so funny? Nothing? I'll be honest, I kind of expected that. It's just nice to get a definite confirmation that he's still a bit of a toxic asshole, that's all. Well, glad I fell for the oldest trick in the book. Would be cool if, for once, a kindred telling me to do one thing didn't mean another thing entirely. Oh, don't be mad. I wanted to be sure of something, and now I am. As far as I'm concerned, you've kept your end of the bargain. It's time I repay the favor. Last year, a certain fledgling appeared in the city and attempted to build a coterie. That list you found in Callahan? That's the list they got. They contacted each of us and found themselves in deep shit. SI, Kaiser, Sophie Langley, some shadow players manipulating everything from behind the scenes. Then they disappeared. Kaiser. That name popping up once again. It can't be a coincidence. No one knows where or why. Doesn't really matter. That happens when you punch your way above your weight. Hope they're doing fine despite all odds. Yeah, they took a sabbatical. Hopefully not in the Kara Montgomery way. In any case, Thor got involved too. That's how I met him, actually. He got hurt. Didn't want to say how, claimed it could put anyone who knew in danger. Whatever happened, I gave him the drive and desire for change. For 2 months, he was a beautiful kindred, plain and simple. But suddenly something in him snapped overnight. His tone mellowed out, his actions became timid, his language became more befitting of a political science student than a charismatic leader. I assumed he met someone who made him an offer he couldn't refuse, but I had no idea who that was. And then one night I followed him when he went out and I saw him scheming in the docks with Callahan. When he came back, we had an argument. When he refused to explain himself, I knew I was on my way out. And that was that. I understand. Wish I had known that earlier. Might have confronted the facts with him and learned something more. He never told me of all kindred. What makes you think he would have told you? She's got a point, I suppose. Alright, thank you. Now it's my turn. Here's your way out. I point to the manhole below our feet. Here's a map of the sewers. Follow the route and burn it. We'll be looking for one-eyed Nosferatu wearing tactical gear. Tell him I sent you. Then give him the agreed-upon amount of money. What kind of route will I be taking, anyway? An armored van full of precious coffins. My man knows how to arrange them to allow for unnoticed extra cargo. Her face darkens. The circulatory system? What did you expect? The rich and powerful always get the blood they want, one way or another. At least tonight, one of their routes will be used for something good. She drops her shoulders in resignation and opens up the manhole cover. Fine, but remember, if it doesn't work, I'll be back at your doorstep with a vengeance if it's the last thing I do. I'm sure it will work out fine, just beware of a giant albino ghoul alligator while you are down there. Tamika rolls her eyes. Sewer ghoul alligator? For your information, it's a story New York kindred tell to neonates to mess with them while they're still gullible enough to believe anything they hear about their new world. Oh, that makes sense, I suppose. Well, this is a goodbye. In the first few months, you'll hear that the First Light presence in Los Angeles has been decimated. Assume that against all odds, I'm still unalive and kicking. If you keep killing indiscriminately, you might cross a line of no return, you know. Shouldn't you take it easy for a while? Not until my brothers and sisters in blood stop being slaughtered. I care about what's left of my humanity, but turning a blind eye on kindred in need would be even less human. So that's the kind of person she is. And probably will be, until the very end. It must be comforting in a way, to know how your path will end, yet to follow it all the same. I could never do that. Here's some parting advice for you. We might be monsters, but we're lucky enough to be born into a world that's even more monstrous than we are. If we rebel against it, we might still find salvation. Even though you're a gangrel, you're a bruja at heart. If only I could believe it. Didn't expect the preaching tone. Why are you telling me this? Because I think I have a pretty good nose for people's auras. And when I take a good look at you, somehow I have a feeling you're a surprisingly decent person. Whatever way of life you choose, I hope you don't change it, and that you remember my advice. Huh. That's the last thing I expected her to say. I don't really know what decent things I've done lately. See you in your next life, Julia. Safe travels, Tamika. I skipped tonight's visit to the church. I'm not in the mood to see Benoit. I'm still embarrassed about yesterday's outburst. And I'm kind of pissed none of the clan elders in Chicago bothered to reply to any of my fucking reports. No advice, no feedback, nothing. I feel like I was left utterly alone. Besides, it's late. I always get back to the apartment early in the morning right before it gets bright. It's getting risky to be out here so close to sunrise. Accidents can happen. I'll try to get back earlier tomorrow night. Attempt to surprise Dakota. Yeah. I'm back. Yay. How was work? All caught up? I managed to get my deadlines postponed. All our clients are canceling and delaying orders left and right. Does that mean you'll have time to help me with my makeup tomorrow? We'll see. Perfect. Alright, I need to disappear before the sun catches up with me. Hey. Yeah? I love you. Oh. An uneasy silence fills the room. I'm not getting out of this one, am I? No. I have to. I didn't lie to the Baron of New York City tonight, so I'm not going to lie to her. I know. She flashes a sad, forced smile as I leave to rest. Well, I suppose this is where we ended for tonight. Seeing as that was the end of a chapter, let's put it this way. Oh, and that's actually a new background. Looks pretty. God damn it, Han Solo. Well, what else can I say? We're here a little bit more people. I would have gone a little more longer. But, considering my audience, or lack thereof, I think this is where we will end it for tonight. I would like to thank you for coming, and I will see you tomorrow, guys. As to what I will play tonight, I'll consider it. Either more showcutters, or perhaps switching back to another strategy game. We'll have to see. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace out. And don't forget to save and re-upload, of course.